It's Nomad Zen. Hey. Hey. Happy June, this is today the 2nd, June 2nd to everybody. We're now in the month of June. We're 6 months, June, 6 months into the new year. We're halfway through the year. What an amazing halfway point this year is. Currently, as you can see, I'm driving. I'm on the way to my storage unit. I gotta go over to the storage unit, and I was gonna story this down in Instagram, but I had a change of heart and a change of thought and was like, hey, why don't I just turn on the stream? Why don't I just turn on the stream? When in doubt, stream it out, baby. When in doubt, stream it out. And so it's a busy day today. It's Thursday. I don't know about you, wherever you're at out in the world. Today is a busy day. And it seems as though, I want to add this in, it seems as though every time, I swear to God, every time I'm wearing this shirt, it's a shirt about, it says save the trees on the back or something. I don't know. It has a big, I love this shirt. I love it. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's green. My favorite color is green. I love it. It's an amazing shirt, but it seems like every time I wear this shirt, I am able to stream on my phone. Every time I'm about to put this shirt on, I'm like, oh, I have enough battery on my phone, and I'm doing something where I'm like, okay, I should turn on the stream right now. And I guess, I don't know, maybe this is just my new streaming shirt or some shit. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should get a streaming shirt every time I stream, just put on the same shirt. No, that's a terrible idea. I'm just kidding. But I'm headed over to my storage unit. The reason why I am is because like I said, I was gonna do this on Instagram, and I figured, what the hell, just turn on the stream. It's easier to explain it like this instead of a few different stories. So I am due for an oil change. Matter of fact, today, right now, on my odometer, I have hit 200,000 miles on this vehicle. Holy freaking moly, I've hit 200,000 miles. Most people, when they hear that, are like, oh no, and they're freaking out. They're like, holy shit, you're 200,000 miles? That's not good for your car. It doesn't mean that it's not good. There are cars that can go, there are people who have 500,000 miles on their car, and because they've kept the condition of the car up and they've kept the maintenance up, it's just fine, and some of them run just fine. Now usually it's more in I feel like I've heard in the 300,000, 400,000 mile range that they're still running well with the maintenance kept up, right? But 500,000 miles is a lot more rare. You won't hear that as much. 200,000 miles. Today, the Black Beauty has hit 200,000 miles. That is the name I've had for my car for so long. I don't think I've ever shared that, actually. Black Beauty has hit 200,000 miles today, and it's weird. I've thought about this moment a few times, where I'm like, I wonder where I'll be, and I'm here in my hometown, driving to my storage unit, and I hit 200,000 miles today. And I have to go to my storage unit because I have to unload a few things out of the car because I'm due for an oil change. Now, this is what I was trying to explain on Instagram, but I figured I'd do it on here and just make a stream out of it anyways, is whenever I have a service, now this is something I don't think I've ever explained. It seems really obvious. If you're dwelling or living out of your car, or in some way, shape, or form, you have a lot of your belongings in your car. This doesn't even have to do with dwelling in a car. It could be, say you're not living like a nomad. Say you're living, you just travel a lot. Let's just say that. You just travel a lot. So you're half in on the nomad life. You're half in on it. And but you have a lot of your belongings, personal belongings in your car. One of the things is, even if you have a trusted mechanic, never, ever, ever, never leave your personal belongings, or at least if they mean something to you, very valuable and very special and something to you, don't leave them in your car when you go to get serviced. And I say this even with a trusted mechanic because my stepdad, growing up, I've he's been a mechanic like his whole life. So growing up, I've been around a mechanic, and there have been times where I've taken my car into him, but he's not the one working on it. It's a newbie working on it. It's a rookie working on it. Now, does he go and check because it's my car to make sure they're doing a good job? Yes, he does, and he'll check in on it, and he would do that. But I'm saying, some of the time what would happen is like he'll be like, oh hey, because they have so many customers, hey, let's get my nickname growing up was Mick. Let's get Mick's car done real quick. They'll put it on, they'll whatever that machine is, they'll like lift it up, they can see under it, and the newbie will be working on that while my dad is doing the other customers to get them kind of in and out, because he's running more of the shop. And so the newbie goes in, and let's say he's doing the oil change, and so he's doing that real quick. Well, when the car's lowered, or if he lets the newbie raise it up himself, the newbie's in there and he's looking around at all your stuff. Now, it goes a long way with trust, yes. If you really trust that shop and your family works there, most of the time you're just going to trust, oh no, the newbie wouldn't do that. Or if anything went missing, you could say, hey, family member, something went missing. Can you ask the newbie why this is missing or whatever, right? You could do that. From personal experience, I would just never suggest at any servicing of your vehicle to leave belongings that really mean something to you in the car. You can, if you choose to, and if you feel comfortable with that. Fingers crossed, and thankfully, I don't think I've ever had an experience where anyone's stolen or taken anything valuable to me out of the car at a servicing appointment, but I've had times where I've had mechanics where I'm like, I would double check. I would double check and make sure, like, as soon as I got the car, I'd go through everything. Okay, this is where I put everything. This is where everything is. Okay, it looks good. Looks fine. No, most mechanics, like the majority, the vast handful of mechanics don't want to do that. They don't. A lot of them are really good people. A lot of mechanics are really great people. But I just think it's worth mentioning all this. Like, if you ever go to servicing, for example, one of the things could be like if you had a really valuable like new phone in your car, or like an iPad or a computer, and you're like, hey, that means a lot to me. Maybe don't leave that in the car if you're going to get it serviced. Find another place to put it. This kind of leads into the conversation of a storage unit. If you are dwelling, if you are traveling, if you are in between homes, if you're like super busy and you need extra space, one of the places most people go to, or they'll find, is a storage unit. Getting a storage unit can be beneficial. I would advise, if you're dwelling out of your car, to absolutely 1000% get a storage unit. It helps so much. I have had one ever since I have been living out of my car, and it's helped a lot. In the beginning, it really just helped with a good majority of a few extra things I had. I was like, okay, I'll just keep that in there. Over time, it has served the purpose of, as you develop and adapt and change the way the space in your car, it's kind of like your room. Like, think about growing up, or just in your room in general. No matter what age you are, like, you go through phases where you're like, oh, I want to change my room. I want the bed over here now. I want the dresser over there now. I want this picture on a different wall. Like, you go through those different phases and you're like, oh, I kind of want to change this up. It's the same thing if you're dwelling out of your car. I've gone through having the back seats all the way down all the time, sleeping in the back all the time, like with my head in the very back and my legs closer here towards the the wheel. I've gone sleeping in the passenger seat. Oh my God, there's a bunch of cops right now. Holy moly, what is happening? 5-0. Oh no, there's like, oh, it's a funeral. Oh, okay. Well, prayers out to that family and their loved one. Wow. lot of people that knew this person. A lot of people. Maybe you can't really tell, but all of those cars just now, they're like all a part of that funeral. As I was saying, storage unit. Especially if you're dwelling in your car, I would highly recommend it. One of the things I would add in there, and I'm saying this because I guess I don't know. I thought of this today. I was like, I've never really talked about this. I've never really added this in here. In anything I've done, I've just never shared this. I never thought to. I thought this is kind of common sense, but as you go through the process, you start to kind of see your options and what you're interested more in. If you can get, the smallest space possible for a storage unit and start out with that, you can always upgrade a storage unit. No matter what storage unit facility you choose, they will always be willing to upgrade you and make it as easy as possible for you. Now, not all storage units are created equally. Some of them really do suck. Some of them are really great. That usually does reflect the price as well. The storage unit I have, I feel like I'm very lucky. The lady who's worked there, she told me once she lives on the property. So I think she actually lives right behind the unit, like right behind the facility. I think she has a house that's like literally right behind the facility, and so she just walks to work in the morning, which is like really cool, right? But no, she's been great. She always looks after everything. You're not supposed to, one of the examples is you're not supposed to park your car. They have parking spaces. You're not supposed to park there overnight. But one time I asked her, I was like, hey, if I go on a trip up north and I have a car that I need, like I'm gonna park my car here and then go with a friend in their car, can I do that? For a few nights? And she's like, yeah, I'll look after it. I know who you are. Totally fine. Not every storage unit does that, right? Most of the time they might just be like, no, that's not in the rules and this and that. So let's see. So yeah, I would highly recommend getting one. Now, even just starting out with the smallest storage unit space, I don't know what that is. I don't know what the standard smallest rate is, or smallest size, but that's something you can search around for online if that's something you're interested in. I know that you can absolutely, it's kind of like Walmart, you can kind of price shop and call another storage unit facility and be like, oh, well, they have it for this price. Can you match that? Can you, most storage units, because they want your service and business, are gonna do that. They're gonna be like, oh, hey, yeah, sure. Oh, that was a big one. That was a good one. Bless me. But I gotta be kind of brief and quick about this because I have to get back and help out a friend. Let's see here. What time is it? 12 o'clock. All right. So we're gonna go in my storage unit. So another thing that I'm thinking of is, while I'm talking about this, and I'm just mentioning it because, like I said, it's just been so beneficial in having space as you grow and as you develop, and the more things and personal belongings you might accumulate over time. So here we go. Let's do this. I'm going to show you guys. So this is my storage unit. Oh, well, Hold on a second here. Oh, come on. I gotta like, there we go. Alrighty. So this is my storage unit. It's a pretty, like, it's really tall. There's a lot of space up top. I try not to stack it too high to not have things fall, but from back at a distance, this is it. It took me quite a while to kind of get all these crates. I just got them from Walmart, and I just kind of wanted to stick with the same color code for like all the crates, but it did not used to look like this. But I have it to where I can pull out the dolly, and there's literally, it's just like I can stand right in the middle and I can look, and I actually have, so like here's some boots I have, but I have everything labeled. Now you don't have to do it, you don't have to be that anal about it, but I figured the more I grew, see that one has art, they all have different things in them. Now my aim is every time I add things in here, so today I'm not adding permanently, so like these are things that are permanent, quote unquote permanent, right? Like for as long as I have this storage unit, they're going to be sitting here. So if it's going to be sitting here for a long time, I want it in a crate. It used to be actually these right here. These ones, I used to keep them in like these plastic ones. And then I decided, why don't I just get these ones and then just label them. So if it's not going to be sitting here long enough, then I'll just temporarily put it on stuff and then come back and bring it out. So that's what we're going to do today. Now I don't think I have too much. The main goal is I want to clear out my passenger seat. And I'm thinking kind of the back. So let's do this. This hat, I'm not gonna wear this hat anymore. I got it and it ripped. And this hat, I got it and I got paint all over it. I actually like this hat. I got freaking paint on it. So these are coming back anyways. Now this is one thing also when you have a storage unit to pay attention to. These are art prints. You guys have seen my prints. Now these prints are made of wood. So if you have anything made of wood, I learned this the hard way, do not put it in your storage unit because of termites. Well, we won't talk about that right now, but just know, like, that's something to be aware of. Also, if you're shopping at your storage unit, something to pay attention to. When I first came here, that the lady did a really good job of, I can't remember her name, but she did a great job of explaining and showing me in the unit. So you want to check the unit, like check along the border of your unit that there are no bugs and that there are no holes where bugs can come into, because if there are, you want to be aware. Now she made it clear they do spray, like bug spray. What is that, termite or the exterminator? They exterminate often, so you can tell when they exterminate because sometimes you'll find dead crickets and you'll be like, oh, okay, they did an extermination. But that's something that you want. You want that out of your storage unit. You want them to be like, oh, hey, yeah, we kill bugs regularly. Because if they don't, that's disgusting. Alrighty, so I might not need to put much of this in. I haven't put in thought into all this. I'm doing this like on the spot right now, so bear with me here. This I actually got from Signing. It's a really cool bag. There's a bunch of hemp products in there. So this is one of the things I'm talking about, an iPad. You don't want to take an iPad into a servicing necessarily. This, I want that. What else? Oh no. Oh no. I think the hydrogen peroxide. Yeah. Ooh, it did. It broke. That's disgusting. It smells really bad down there. Yep. Yeah, this food that's done. So that's just gonna be trash. So that's just garbage. That's garbage. All right, let's grab these. Ugh. That's good. I know it's shaky, guys. Bear with me. So like that's what I mean. These are actually really important documents. I'm not going to share what they are, but these normally I keep in here anyways. Now, that brings up a good question. Why would you keep important documents in a storage unit when there could be water damage or like heat damage or anything? So mine is actually an air conditioned unit. It's hot in here right now, a little bit hot in here right now, but it gets like that. Like there is air conditioning running, but it doesn't mean that it's 100% like super duper cool all the time, because we live in Arizona. Because when you live in Arizona, even having the air conditioning on, it can still get really hot sometimes. But you need insurance. You need renter's insurance. Is it renters? Yeah, I think it's renter's insurance. So this do I want to put these in there? So now this is something I'm like just on the spot. This I could keep in here like for servicing. They're just gonna know. This is something I also try to do for servicings where I try not to keep, like I try not to make it look like I may be dwelling in my car, so I would put a bunch of my clothes back in the storage unit. But right now I could just keep this in here. This is not a big deal. These, same thing. I could just keep all this in here, and that's really not that big of a deal. It's just that when you go to places, this is something to keep in mind, and you do things like this, and you go back to that same place, that gives them the idea, oh, hey, that person may be dwelling out of their car. What goodies can I find in here? That kind of idea, okay? So this is coming with me. What else here? That I'm gonna have to put in the back. There's something down there I'm gonna have to put in the back. There's my trash. I gotta throw the trash out. This can stay in here. It's full of clothes. This I can keep in here. This is another one. So this has electronics in it. Oh shit. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. One and Dos Equis. Sorry, it's kind of hard to carry the camera and show you guys what I'm talking about at the same time. There we go, here's one and two. So what I do, my hands are a little full right now, but what I would do is I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna, this is why also, if you already have a storage unit, this is why organizing it helps you in the long run. Because you just do this. I move these, I put this one down as a base, put that there. Put the hats back. Oh shit. And then I just put the boots right back. I don't know why I moved them in the first place. Oh, to put that there. But basically, you see what I'm kind of saying? It makes life so much easier if you just organize your storage unit. The reason why I do this as well is because I've helped so many people. I've helped so many people move their storage unit, or like move in and out of their storage units, that I've seen storage units be the messiest and the grossest ever. If you just organize it as you go, as you add things in the storage unit, as you put different things in there, and you create some kind of system that gives you space, but also has everything in you know where everything's at, like labeling. It helps so much in the long run when you have quick trips to do like this, where you got to come in, put some stuff there for a little bit, or maybe you need it there a little bit longer. You can just easily know where to put it, do it quick, do it fast, and be done with it. So here we go. I have this one as well, that for right now, what I'm going to do, I wouldn't normally keep this like this. That's why I'm just going to do this for now. So hats, boots on the backpack. There are electronics in there, but it is safe in here because it's actually a little bit cool in here. This is safe for a temporary amount of time. That's what I'm saying too. I want to stress that. Temporary. Temporaries, and I'm coming back today to get this again and be out of here. Let's see what else. So usually from the storage unit, if I have things like trash, like I was showing you guys, I have quite a bit of trash, which is gross, but it's one of those things where you just got to keep up on and throw it out. This I didn't know was bad, these little bags. Unfortunately, you might be able to see my pee down there too, which is disgusting. But yeah, if you have things like that, it's good to keep up on it and keep throwing it out. So this, fuck, I'm gonna leave all that in there right now. Yeah, we're gonna put this one back. The pillow's gonna go back. I'm gonna leave this pillow in here. I'm gonna put this one up. Big guy here. And is that it? I thought there was a lot more. Let me see here. Yeah, the back is good. So another thing too, just in general, this is something I never talk about, but while we're here, just in general, this box, it took me a while to get it to this. Like I used to have what's in here kind of all scattered around here, but this has like all of my car like basics, right? Like your jack and your other tools that you might need for your car. Have it all in that box. I used to not have it like that, but I think it's really important to do that regardless of what you use your car for. So blanket down there. What else? I got this guy, can just be thrown in the back. This is just info. So this has my charger. So this one, I can put that somewhere else, and I think that's it for right now. Ultimately, like what I'm gonna do, and I'll show you guys later, is I'm gonna clear this out. This is all gonna go in the back, so that this area is clean for when I get it serviced. The biggest thing of coming to the storage unit is getting the essential, important things out of the car, putting them in the storage unit, and then going from there. So like for right now, I don't like doing this with this pillow. I love this pillow. It's so soft. But you'll see kind of too, these are all crates that are full. These two crates on top right here are the ones that I have left over. And you can see I just have kind of a bunch of extra stuff. Hangers. This is like a shower head holder thingy. And then I have another thing from my car that had my jack in it in here. Like the original one in there. This is actually my diploma. That's actually my college diploma right there. Now, once again, that's why it brings up the important thing of insurance and renter's insurance. Is it still smart to keep that in there? Probably not, but it's an extra space for me to put it right now. Let me go make sure. I always do one last check, even though I think that's it, because once you leave the storage unit, it's nice just to be done and just to go. Let me open this bad boy and make sure Shit. Yeah, so I got iPad, which I'm gonna put that. I know where I'm gonna put that. I know where I'm gonna put the charger. That I gotta clear out. And what else? Trash. Yep, I think that's it. So definitely not as much as I thought. It's because every time I've done this, I'm just so in the habit and used to, okay, I gotta go to storage unit first. I gotta unload, put everything, put my belongings, my personal belongings that mean the most to me in the unit, and then go get serviced. It's like almost 12:30. Always make sure these are locked. So you can see I'm with Extra Space Storage. They actually give you one of these. I bought one of these, and they give you one of these if you need one just to start with your storage unit. So you don't even have to buy a lock. They'll actually provide you with one just to start with them. I can't remember, it says online what the size of mine is. But the size of this unit is one of the smaller ones in this facility. You see this hallway is kind of like, it's like all the same size of mine. Yes, got that done. But it's, then they have the ones like out here. These are like for like cars and just like bigger, you know, like if you just need a lot more space. Alrighty, it's closed. So, let's go. So there's that. Hand sanitizer, Purell. So I gotta go, usually what I do after this, normally, is I will go to I'll go find a trash can and go dump out the trash that I need to dump out. So that's the next thing. Let's go dump out trash, clean out the car. I also do this because growing up with a mechanic, I've heard tons of stories of when the mechanic goes in the car of like, oh, this car had all this nasty shit in it and it was disgusting, it smelled horrible. And I don't want you guys to see my passcode. But like I've heard so many stories of, oh, this nasty shit in this car and it smelled like this. Cleanliness can be godliness, and it can make your life easier in some ways. Especially if you ever go to get a storage unit, even if it is not for dwelling. But if you go to get a storage unit, yes, I got that done, yes. Thank you, universe. But even if you just need a storage unit for just your life, like you just need some extra space, it always helps. I'm telling you, to organize it as you go. I know a lot of people, like, they get really tired and like, I just want it all in there and I'll be done with it and I'll organize it later. Bullshit. Total bullshit. I've seen that so many times. I've helped with enough moves to see people who are like, oh, just get it in there and we'll do it later. Bullshit. You will not do it later. It's gonna sit there for like 6 months and then you're gonna be like, wow, why is all this dirty and disgusting and just everywhere? Because you didn't fix it as you went. I know it can take time. I know it can be annoying, but if you fix and organize your storage unit, it saves you so much freaking time in the long run, so much of a headache, so much. It saves you so much in the long run. And yes, it took me time to get it that organized and that clean and that, like, efficient, if you will, to have everything kind of labeled and in its box and where it's supposed to be. So there's a Walmart right up the road here. We're gonna go to Walmart and dump out my trash and my pee bottles. Yes, I know it's gross. Yeah, we're gonna do that real quick. Just a little side note too, I think that's the first time, well, like the second time. I've recorded in there before in my storage unit, but I've never, like, I'm usually just quiet and I think I don't say that much in there. So that's probably the first time they've seen me on the camera and they're probably like, what the hell is this guy doing? But I'm sure that's not the first time that they've seen me on the camera and they're like, what the hell is this guy doing? Because when I first started living out of my car, man oh man, I used to go there at night. Like, I just remember in the beginning, I would somehow just end up at the storage unit, usually at like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and they close at 10. Or like 8 or 9 actually, I think. I would end up there at night, and then I would just like start moving and shuffling things to get ready to go to sleep for that night and try to make space. And when I was first learning how to do a lot of it, I would get there at night and I would like fix the car and like just be there for like an hour, like 45 minutes to an hour. So I'm sure most of the time on the camera they're like, what the hell is he doing? What is he doing taking that long? And yeah. But they've been gracious about it. I'm sure they know, and they've been gracious about it. Here we go. I gotta dump this out real quick. I'm gonna set you guys down real quick. Oh man. Set you guys right here. Alright, so this is what I was talking about is, yeah, it smells like hydrogen peroxide on this bag. I have these little baggies, and I have my Amazon utensils. So that's still good because that's covered. But I have tea in here too. This is still good. I have rice. The rice seems fine. It's just that the hydrogen peroxide leaked and it got onto this bag. So this bag is good. I'm gonna say this one's good. It just smells like hydrogen peroxide. This one's good. This one might be bad. Yeah, this one ripped. And it definitely smells. But it also has this in it, which is an Amazon water bottle that I got, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna keep this. Just put it in this one. Oh yeah. This was like to here, and now it's empty. So yeah, this spilled like everywhere. And I just have more coconut oil. But no, I'm gonna toss both of these. So this one's good. I think it just spilled onto the bottom of that seat down there, which would explain the funky smell for a little bit. Because there was a weird smell, and I was like, what the hell is that smell? Where is it coming from? Is it me? And I'd put on deodorant, and I'd like air out the car. I have a purifier running. This is an air purifier. And so I clean the smell out all the time. Anyways, all right, let me dump this out real quick. So yes, as disgusting as it is, there are 2 pee bottles right here. I'm gonna clean my hands. Don't worry, people. But this, it's embarrassing when people see this. Just do it like this. just apple juice. And then I have, let's see here. Come on. So this is something I invested in, and we'll talk about this in a moment. So, pros and cons to getting a trash like this. Pros, you have a trash can and you can dump a little bit, enough of your trash in here that you feel comfortable with. Cons, your trash can get dirty and smell if you put certain things in there, like any trash can. Which is why, once again, cleanliness can be like godliness. And if you regularly clean your car up, if you're dwelling out of your vehicle and you regularly clean your vehicle, then you're good. When I first started living out of my car, because I think because of the pandemic and because everything just kind of happening at once, it was difficult sometimes just to keep up with, like, I think with cleaning everything. And here we go. Got wipes, Clorox wipes. What time is it? 12:35. I gotta get going. I'll go to get going. So, wipey, trash can, right? Those are things you can put in the trash. The reason why my trash can smells is because, I'm just gonna say it like this, I put a certain liquid in there, and it's not pee. That's not the liquid I'm talking about. It's not pee. I would never put pee in my trash can. It's disgusting. But I don't want to say what it is right in this moment, but just know it was a liquid that I knew smelled, and I was like, oh, I'll dump it in there, and when I dump it out, it's just gonna dump out of the trash can. But it, like, there's like wrappers at the bottom that stuck to the bottom, and then it like sticks, it like made those smell worse and stick more. And anyways, it's water. It was just water, but it's like, it's a certain kind of water. Anywho, yeah, so there's that. Alrighty. Oh, here's another thing. Check this out. Peanut butter goes a long, long way. Always have peanut butter. It doesn't smell like hydrogen peroxide. It's actually capped super freaking tight. And so I have an orange in here, but McDonald's cups. Always keep a McDonald's cup on hand. They're $1. You can always get a McDonald's drink. You just walk into McDonald's, grab a drink. They might be like, oh, hey, you can't do that. I've had that happen once. And I'm like, it's a McDonald's cup. And then they just let you get the drink and go. So it's a neat little trick. You can always have a drink on hand. Alrighty. I think that's it. I think so. I got an ice cold tea right here. Now, there's one last stop I wanted to make real quick. And It's just a Target, but it's actually on the way back to where I'm going. So I got to drop a friend off at an appointment today, and then I got to go get my oil changed. So I'm gonna story that up, and I'll keep that all on Instagram, and you guys will see more of that over there. But I wanted to just do this stream because I kind of wanted to show some of the things of, like, if you're dwelling out of your car, and you haven't been doing it this way, this is just a thought or an option or an opportunity to, like, look at another way of, hey, this is how I do it. This is how, if I ever go to get maintenance done on the car, this is one side of it. So the other side would be, like, if I had to rent a car, there's a whole other process in that. If I were to rent the car, I'm gonna gut out my, like, because if you're renting a car, the odds are your car's gonna be in the shop a lot longer. I would completely gut everything out of my car. I'd put everything in my car in the storage unit, everything, because it's gonna be in the shop for days, and you have no idea what the hell's gonna happen. You have no idea if they're gonna leave it out in the sun. You have no idea. I've pulled up to Ford dealership and just seen my car sitting out in the sun for hours, and they didn't put the little, I have the little, like, shield thingy, they didn't put that up. They just left it in the sun for hours, and it was good. I realized, oh, it was good that I cleared everything out, because anything that was in there, if it was an electronic, right, anything like that could have just been rotten in the sun, and they'd be like, oh, we're not responsible for it. So it's just a good idea in general, even if you don't live out of your car, if you don't dwell, if you don't do any of that, it can be a good thought or idea to just clear out your car before you go get it serviced. But right now, yeah, there's not as much. I thought I had a lot more. There's not as much to clear out. The other thing I was going to say is I wanted to share too with the storage units. That's something I've done since the beginning, since I've lived out of my car, and it has come in handy so much. And right now, so I will tell you too, storage units will jack up the price. They will. Mine, I started out on a deal they had at, it was $40. And so in the 1 year, I think I've been there with them a year now. In the year that I've been with them, it's gone up $20. So I pay about $60 and some change for my storage unit. The lady explained to me that the more tenants they get, over time, they will jack up the price. And she was right. Like, I started to notice more people would come in, and it seemed like the place is getting fuller, and then suddenly our price went up a little bit. I think it does also reflect, though, that I think for the storage unit itself, it does reflect if you start, like, if they see you there for a certain amount of time, then they'll jack up your price. Because initially, when I filled out the paperwork to start a storage unit, they want to know, hey, how long do you think you're going to be here? I think I had put 6 months to a year, and I think I put 6 months, and after the 6 months, I did notice it go up. So I'm like, oh, I think it's also based off of, they factor that in. If you go longer than what you said you thought, then they start to kind of charge you more, because you may hang around a lot longer. So it's been good, though. I mean, I pay $60 for a 5x7, 5x8. I could be wrong. Is that right? 5x7, possibly. I think that's what it is. No, maybe that's wrong. Anyways, it's one of the smaller units at Extra Space. Extra Space always has deals online. So if you go look online for Extra Space, you can usually find a deal there, but you have to do it through the online service. So meaning, if you go down to an Extra Space storage, I know this because I've been a member with them for as long as I have. If you go down to an Extra Space storage and you're like, oh, hey, I want the deal that they did online, they'll be like, oh, you need to do it online. So purchase it online. You will get a deal online, because they always have deals online for storage units, like when you want to start out as a newcomer, as a newbie, and then it'll transfer over, and then when you go in person, they'll explain everything, but they stick to that online price. Versus if you go sign up that day in person, you're going to be paying more. You're gonna be paying more. I don't know how much more, but you're gonna be paying more right out the gate. So there's that. I gotta go to Target. Let's go to Target. I gotta go get more wipies. And like I said, this down here, well, I'll flip the camera around. This down here, so I cleared out the pee bottles and the trash, right? This is, I'm gonna move this stuff to the back, and I'm gonna basically fill up the back, that back and this back, with all my stuff from here and here, so that this is all cleared and this seat is all cleared, and the front deck, the cockpit, is basically all cleared, right? Whenever I take it in, I like to have like the front usually cleared out. Like I said, if I know my car's gonna be in the shop for quite a while, I'm gonna clear as much out as possible, and just go from there. So I gotta be back there by 1, but I'm gonna stop at the Target next to her place, and then we're gonna go from there. That's you, buddy. No, that's you. He stopped first. That was weird. He stopped and then he's just like honking at me to go, and I'm like, I haven't stopped yet. I didn't stop. My guy. Now, of course, I want to add this in. Anything that I do or the way I do it does not mean that it's the only way to do it. There are so many ways to go about living in your vehicle, and like when I show you the whole storage unit thing and how I do that, and when I go get serviced, like my car serviced and all that, right? You don't have to do it that way. Please don't think like that's the only way. There are so many ways. There are so many videos of so many ways on how to do all of that. You can go find all of that on YouTube, and there's a lot of other ideas and opinions out there that are just as great as mine. This is just based off of experience from about a year of living out of my car and what I've discovered along the way and what can help. An example I'll give you guys as well is that I'm thinking of is a guy. I went to get my brakes changed once. So there's this location I go to. I try to go to the same mechanics, right? If I have a good experience with a mechanic, I'll try to go to the same mechanics. There's a brake place I went to. It's like Brakes Plus or something. And about a year, no, not a year, like last year. I just remember it was last year. And I went there and I did my regular kind of procedure of like I cleared out really good portion of the car, but there was a few indicators in the car that I knew would be like, oh, you could tell I'm living out of the car. If I remember correctly, I think I left I think it was in the bed, like in the very back. I left like my yoga mat all tied up, and I had my sleeping bag tied up back there, right? So I had like a few things like camping wise that were back there that would be like, oh, at that point in time, and with all tinted windows, at that point in time, you're like, oh, this guy's living out of his car. Another indicator that was clear that wasn't clear to me, but became clear to me, and I saw what he was doing, was I went there to get my brakes changed, and I think like one other thing that they would do. But he came out with a list, and he was like, he had money in his eyes. He was just like looking at me to just pay all this right away. I think he thought that I was just an easy catch. It was like, oh, we're gonna get this guy for everything he has right now. And because I grew up with a mechanic, I just know from experience, if a mechanic ever comes out with a full list of everything you need to get done on your car, that by no means does that mean at all? It does not mean that you need to do all of those things right then and there. They're just saying, hey, this is what's important to get done on your car. These are things to pay attention to. And if you want to keep the performance of your car running well, you're going to want to get these done over time. They may suggest, like all of them are going to suggest right then and there. They usually always do, oh, you need to get this done right now. You need to get this done right now. If they're a really good mechanic, I've had the good bunch of mechanics that are very honest and transparent. And they'll say, yeah, it's good to get it done right now, and this is about the length of time you have until it gets to become a really, really big issue, right? So there's those mechanics. I've met quite a few of those. My stepdad's more of one of those. He's been one of those for so long, I think because he just, I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Anyways, there's those mechanics, and then there's the ones like him where they just try to get you. They try to get you to pay $2,000 out of your pocket right now because they're like trying to convince you it all needs to be done right this second, and that you can't even literally drive your car off that lot and it's not going to be okay. So this guy was one of those guys. What he did is he came out with a whole list, and he's like, the biggest thing was the suspension. That's where he got me, and he's like, your suspension needs to be fixed right now. Now, does my suspension need to be fixed? Yes, it does. Because I've been sleeping in the car, so it's lowering the suspension. Which I hadn't thought of before I went to that appointment, but I was like, oh, that's a key indicator to show that, yes, somebody is living out of their car if their suspension kind of starts to lower over time, right? So what he did is he priced, like, there was the things that I wanted to get done, and so he priced that out, but then he added like 6 other things on my car that he said have to get done right now. He's like, these need to be done right now. Your car, it's just, you're like one of those, like, just, oh, if you don't get this done right now, it's gonna be hard for you to drive out of here, and like you're just gonna, you're gonna have a bigger problem if you just kept insisting you got to get it done right now. Bullshit, total bullshit. Saw through the guys' bullshit. If you're ever in that scenario, all you got to do is say okay and shake your head and take the paperwork and say, let's just get started on the things that you came in there for. Let's get started on the brakes. Let's get started on that. And they're going to wait for you because they want to know, because it makes sense. They want to know, do you want us to work on all the other stuff? And you say, I'll take a look at all this, but for right now, let's get started on what I came here for. And that usually tells them, let's go start on those and wait on everything else. And that gives you time to actually look at the sheet, see what everything is priced out as, see what they're actually telling you needs to be fixed, look it up. You can go look it up at that point in time. And then you can even start calling around other mechanics and saying, hey, what do you guys charge for this, right? That is a point in time to kind of take control of the situation if a mechanic is trying to take advantage of you. And so he was trying to take advantage of me because he was just like, he just wasn't having it. Every time, when I was like, okay, and I did that, okay, let's just get started on this. No, but it needs to be done right now. He's doing one of those, like, no, it doesn't. It does not need to be done right now. Did I know that? Yes and no. I wasn't totally sure, but then I had actually gotten it checked. I think it was the same week. I had gone to a different mechanic, and they're like, no, it does need to get done. He's not right, though. It doesn't need to be done right now. It's not so pressing it needs to be done right this second, right? So it's always okay to get a second opinion. It's always okay to just say, hey, I'm not sure about that right now. I want to take a second look at that, right? It might feel uncomfortable, especially when a mechanic, they might take that as, oh, you don't think I know what I'm doing? You don't think? And I've had mechanics do that to me as well, where they're like, oh, well, I know what I'm talking about. And it's like, I'm not saying you don't know that. I'm just saying I want to get a second look at it. So it's okay. Don't play into those games. Don't play that BS. It's always okay to get a second look. It's always okay to just go in, get service what you wanted to get service, and then take the list with you and go check all that out and check one of them off one by one, right? But it's another key indicator. If you're going to live out of your car, a way when you take it into mechanics that they may know, even if you think you're being smart and like, oh, I cleared the car out and this and that, and there's no way they're going to be able to tell that I'm living out of my car. The two main things are the tint and the suspension. The suspension will get you every time. A really good mechanic, or at least an experienced one, will be able to tell about right away based off of the look of your suspension. And I feel like at this point, mechanics just all over the country are probably used to it. They're probably used to just seeing so many people live out of their cars because, yes, more and more people have been dwelling out of their cars since the pandemic. Is it 12:54? My Gilbert. So it looks like I'm not gonna no. I'm not gonna go to Target. I'm just gonna go straight back. I don't have enough time to get to Target. That can actually wait. But the cool thing is I got that done. Even though it wasn't as much, I just needed to get it done before I went in. And I can come back before tonight and grab my stuff again and put it back in the car. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that trip. I know maybe that's kind of, maybe for some of you it's kind of useless and you're like, what the hell? That was lame, but like, these are one of the day-to-day things you can do, or you can see yourself doing if you do live out of your car, or if you temporarily live out of your car, or if you are traveling and you're like, hey, I need a place to put my extra stuff. A good thing to also note as well is whatever storage unit you choose, to know the times, the days and times in which they are open. I've actually had this happen a few times where it was closer towards, I think it was like fall, winter, right? So we weren't in the depth of winter, but it was like kind of fall, and it was getting colder out here in Arizona. But I've had a few times where I wasn't able to make it back to the storage unit. Like I would clear out and I'd do like I just got my car back and I had to fill it back up, but I didn't have enough time to get, like I had other things to do, and then I wasn't able to get to the storage unit on time and they closed, or where they had changed their hours for like that week because they had to do something to the store. They had to schedule an extermination, or like my storage unit does this thing where they'll pave the roads. They actually just did it like a week or two ago. They'll repave the roads in our complex, and when they do that, they shut down the whole unit for like 2 days, and nobody can come in or out. And it's always good to pay attention to that, so that if you do need to clear out, or if you need to put stuff back from your storage unit that you desperately need, like around the fall, I had it gets really cold at night. It gets really freaking cold, and my 0-degree sleeping bag was keeping me like perfectly warm. So I had that in the storage unit, and I had no blankets. I had 0 blankets in the car. I had none of that. So that night, I remember that one time I had to go, the only place, because of the pandemic at that time, the only place that was open was CVS. And it was just this one CVS. It wasn't like multiple CVS's were open till the time they were. It was like this one was only open till midnight or something. So I found it, and I was like, all right, I'll go there and see if they have some blankets. And they didn't really have, like, because it's CVS, it's a pharmacy, they only had like these really, actually I have it from in the back. It's this one right here. They only have these. They're not super thick. They're actually not really long either. But they only had those, and that's the one I got. And I think I had gotten another one, and I ended up throwing it out. I think I spilled some on it and I threw it out, but it was a cold night. I only had those like 2 blankets in there, really thin, and they work sometimes. Like going into summer, at nights out here in Arizona, going into summer, some nights it gets down to 70 degrees, and that's pretty cool. And like early in the morning, it gets kind of cold enough to where you can use that kind of blanket right there. It's perfect. It's not too hot putting it on. It's not too like you're not cold anymore. It's just right. But like in the fall, no, that's not enough. It gets really cold. So I was freezing my ass off that night. I had to do that. Like I actually, the only thing extra I had in my car was just a bunch of my clothes. So what I ended up doing was just putting a bunch of my clothes over me as blankets. And it worked, but damn, that was a cold night. So what I'm saying is, like, if you use a storage unit and you dwell out of your car, or you're traveling and you're not around your storage unit, make sure you have in your car the essentials to be able to kind of comfortably get through a night, you know, if you know it's going to be really cold. Or vice versa, if it's going to be really hot, make sure you have all your fans in the car. Make sure you have your batteries for the fans. Make sure you have your portable charger charged up for the fans. Those kinds of things, if you know what your route is going to be for that day or that week or that time. It's just something to pay attention to. But it comes in handy. It definitely comes in handy. Oh, that's the other thing I want to mention, and then we're gonna wrap up this stream because I gotta get going. But the other thing is the insurance side of it. So you can look it up. I think it's called Pink Lemonade, or no, maybe it's called Lemonade Insurance, but it's renter's insurance. So yeah, it's dumb sometimes to put important documents in a storage unit. I understand. That is the only other place I can put them, at least that I feel. The only other place that is mine that I could put them, and it's like I know where they're at. Now I do try to keep them up. So like if you have important documents and you don't have anywhere else to put them, and you put them in your storage unit, make sure you put them up. So like higher up. If you stack how you saw, like I have the crates and I stack them, put them in the top crate in a place that's safe. You could even try to cover it too and get waterproof crates. The reason why I got those crates as well is because if there is some kind of water damage that happens at my storage unit complex and it leaks into my storage unit, I used to not have everything in crates, so a lot of my shit would have gotten damaged, versus now that I have it in there, most of it, a good portion of it, is going to be protected. Now, my storage unit does require, and pretty much most all storage units require, some kind of renter's insurance. You need some kind of renter's insurance to partner with them. A lot of them offer their own. I know Extra Space offers their own, and there's perks to it. I don't use theirs, I use my own. It's very affordable. Lemonade Insurance, you can look it up online, very affordable. It's like 13 to 15 bucks a month, and it protects everything I have in my storage unit. Except for the only thing it wouldn't really protect is my important documents and my degree, right? Like that, which would be an important document, but pretty much those it wouldn't protect, which is why I just try to keep them up higher and protect it myself. So you can always take pictures too and have it in picture format, but something that you'll have to consider is getting renter's insurance. And there's even cheaper options than Lemonade Insurance, but I found that they were pretty good for the price and for the amounts and like the perks and all that of what they cover. But yes, it's a great idea to have renter's insurance for a storage unit. It's a great idea to consider protecting your stuff and getting crates, and getting, even if you can find waterproof crates, great, that's awesome. No wood. Do not put wood in your storage unit. So I didn't say it back there because I don't know if their cameras can hear, like if they can hear you talking and what you're saying. I have no idea. And I never told the lady. That's why I never told her. I just took care of it and I figured it out. But basically, I left my wood art prints in there, and termites got into my storage unit. Luckily, I caught it in time, and they had only eaten up one of my art prints. They had just been like eating on that one, and so I ended up just throwing it out. It was a crappy one anyways, and I was like, I don't want this anyways, so I threw it out. But no wood. Do not put wood in there. Do not fucking put wood in your storage unit. You will get termites. It's a fucking mess because you have to check everything, and I did. I had to. At that time, I didn't have everything in crates. So what I had to do is I had to go through and make sure, okay, they're not anywhere else in here, or else this could become a big problem. And that's why now, I actually did show you guys on camera, but I didn't talk about what it was. Is there's in that clear, it's in one of the clear containers that I have is actually termite spray. It's termite and ant spray, and yeah, it killed them right off. It did the trick. I just kept having to spray it for like 2 weeks, and it did the trick, and I killed them all off. But it's just something I didn't think, because I was like, oh, they exterminate all the time, there shouldn't be any termites around. No, there was termites, and they were eating the fuck out of my print. But no wood, no freaking wood. So, next on the agenda is doctor's appointment, Target, oil change. Gotta get my oil changed. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see updated in the stories as I go along today the rest of my errands and getting all that done. And thank you guys. Thank you for supporting and following. I think I'll take this time too just to quickly mention, and I'm going to be mentioning this pretty often this month, is I now am official on Patreon. So you can, if you like what you see and you love following along, and you're just like, you can't get enough Nomad Zen, then go ahead and follow me on Patreon. You can support the channel and every single thing I do on Patreon. Currently, I only have one tier on Patreon. So for those of you who are familiar with Patreon, it's basically, there's a tier system, a tier kind of support system to support artists and creators of all kinds around the world. And if you like their content enough, you can support with your money. So what did I call it? The Mad Community. So I have a tier right now structured on there on Patreon. It's called Mad Community, and it's for all of you who follow along, and if you want to support the channel, it's $3 a month. You literally just I think I could be wrong, but you put your information in, like which card you want to be charged, and it just charges you a flat rate fee of $3 a month to support Nomad Zen and every single thing I do. And for all of you who do support on Patreon and pay that $3 a month subscription, you'll actually every single month starting now. So I don't know when I'll be doing them, but I'm thinking the middle of the month, about the 15th of every month, of sending out. You'll get a digital art print